The first encounter. Zoroth, commander of the alien scout vessel, stood at the wide glass window of his ship. He had traveled across galaxies, visited countless planets, and seen many strange species, but the blue and green world below him felt different. This planet called Earth carried an energy that made his scales tighten and his hearts beat faster. The humans, as they called themselves, were unusual beings. They were not the strongest compared to other galactic races. They were not the tallest or the fastest, and yet, they had built machines that reached the stars. They had weapons that could destroy entire fleets. But what puzzled Zoroth the most was not their technology. It was the strange little creatures they carried everywhere. At first Zoroth thought it was a mistake. His crew showed him images captured from Earth cities. Tall humans walking proudly, holding leashes attached to small, furry creatures. Some carried them in bags, some pushed them in wheeled cages. Others simply cradled them in their arms as if they were treasures. The alien commander narrowed his glowing eyes and whispered, "Why do humans carry a mini sandworm?" His crew gasped. The word sandworm was feared across the stars. In Zoroth's homeworld, sandworms were giant monsters, long as buildings and sharp as blades. They lived under deserts, swallowing armies and ships in a single strike. Only the bravest hunters dared to face them, and most never returned. But here, on Earth, humans seemed to carry smaller versions without fear. It made no sense. Zoroth paced across the control room. The crew followed his steps nervously. "If these are truly sandworms," he muttered, "then humans have tamed them, shrunk them, and made them loyal." The thought was terrifying. A species capable of bending such monsters to their will could not be underestimated. To study closer, Zoroth ordered the ship to descend, invisible to human eyes. The vessel hovered above a crowded city. Through the viewing screens, the aliens observed. Everywhere, humans walked with these little beasts. The creatures barked, wagged tails, licked faces, and ran happily beside their humans. The aliens tilted their heads in confusion. This was not the behavior of weapons. Yet, the bond was undeniable. The humans treated the sandworms with care, love, and respect. Zoroth clenched his jaw. "They let them sleep in their homes," he said slowly. "They feed them before they eat themselves." He shook his head, unable to understand. Are they fearless, or are they insane? One of his officers, a young alien named Kreth, spoke timidly. "Commander, perhaps it is strategy. Humans show affection only to hide their control. Perhaps the loyalty of the mini sandworm comes from fear." Zoroth considered the idea, but his instincts told him otherwise. He could see no fear in the humans, only joy. He could see no chains, no collars of pain, only ribbons and soft ropes. This was not control. It was something stranger. The commander turned back to the screen. His eyes locked onto a family in a park. A child threw a stick across the grass. The mini sandworm, a brown and white one, chased it with lightning speed. It picked the stick in its mouth and ran back proudly, tail wagging like a flag. The child laughed, hugged it, and threw the stick again. The alien stiffened. "They obey commands instantly," Zoroth whispered. His crew exchanged fearful glances. If these creatures could be trained to follow orders so quickly, then in battle, they would be unstoppable. Zoroth pressed his clawed hand against the glass. He imagined armies of humans releasing thousands of these creatures on enemies. Small, fast, sharp-toothed beasts tearing apart defenses, and the humans smiling, as if nothing was wrong. He shivered, something rare for him. Humans were not just warriors, they were something more dangerous. They were unpredictable. As the ship floated silently above the city, Zoroth gave his first command. "Do not attack, do not reveal our presence. We must learn their secret. We must know why humans carry the mini sandworm." The crew bowed, but their eyes were wide with fear. They had faced empires, machines, and monsters, but never before had they seen a species that treated danger as if it were family. Never before had they seen soldiers walking into battle with creatures in their arms. It was madness, it was brilliance, it was human. Zorath returned to his chair, his voice low but sharp. "Record everything. The council must see this. They must know the truth." Outside, the humans laughed, children played, and the mini sandworms barked in delight. But inside the alien ship, tension filled the air like smoke. To Zorath and his crew, this was not laughter. It was the sound of a weapon disguised as love. It was the warning of a species too dangerous to provoke. The commander closed his eyes. His last words for the night echoed through the room. Humans are not what they seem. They hide their strength and loyalty. And that makes them more dangerous than any empire we have faced. And so began the mystery of Earth, and the fear of the mini sandworm. Alien Investigation. Zorath did not sleep that cycle. The mystery of the mini sandworm kept echoing in his mind. He had seen human weapons, human machines, even their strange music, but nothing confused him more than the little beasts that humans carried with pride. He needed answers, and he would not wait. At dawn on Earth, the alien ship descended again, hidden by its cloaking shield. The city below was waking. Humans stretched, yawned, drank their hot liquids, and opened doors, and once again, the small creatures came out with them, wagging tails, sniffing me. Zorath's second officer, Relic, stared at the screen with horror. "They bring them out every morning, Commander. It is ritual, maybe preparation for battle." Zorath narrowed his eyes. Or perhaps it is training. The aliens activated their stealth drones. Small metal eyes flew down into the streets, silent as shadows. They followed humans walking their creatures along paths of stone and grass. They watched as humans bent down speaking. To them in soft voices, the creatures responded with barks, jumps, and endless wagging tails. Relic leaned closer to the screen. "They understand language. Commander, this is not simple animal, this is soldier." But then something happened that confused them even more. A woman knelt, picked up a glowing bag, and removed strange sticks. The little beast barked, sat down, and stared with hungry eyes. The woman laughed, broke the stick into pieces, and fed it. The aliens gasped. "They reward them with food after obedience," Relic said. Zorath hissed. "Classic training technique. First control the hunger, then command the will." Yet what shook Zorath most was the joy on the woman's face. She was not forcing the beast. She was smiling. Her eyes glowed with affection, as if she loved the creature. The beast licked her hand, and she laughed again. Zorath clenched his claws. Impossible. No commander loves his weapon. The investigation grew stranger. The drones followed. Children in a playground. Some climbed, some slid, some ran. But many played with the small beasts, throwing balls, chasing together, rolling in the grass. The beasts did not attack, did not bite, did not kill. They only played. One drone zoomed in closer. It recorded the sound of laughter, of barking, of joy. Relic whispered in disbelief. "They fight with happiness. This makes no sense." Zorath turned away from the screen, his heart uneasy. The council would not believe this. If you reported humans carrying sandworms as weapons, the council would panic. If you reported them carrying sandworms as family, the council would laugh. And yet, both answers felt true. Zorath pressed his claws against the console. "There is something hidden, something deeper. We will uncover it." To test his theory, Zorath gave a bold order. "Send a drone closer. Let it scan one of the beasts directly." The crew obeyed. One drone floated behind a man walking his creature. The scanner beam touched the small beast for less than a second. Data rushed back to the ship. The screen lit up with results. "Strange," said Relic. "The body is simple, fragile, bones light, heart small, teeth sharp but weak. This is no weapon. Commander, this is companion animal." The word echoed in the silent room. Companion, not weapon, not soldier, not hunter, but something softer, something no alien military mind could understand. Zorath slammed his fist on the console. Companion? Lies, no species. Risks their lives for weak animals. There must be more. There must be a secret we cannot see. Another officer raised a trembling hand. "Commander, maybe the secret is not the beast. Maybe the secret is the bond between beast and human." The room fell silent. Zorath stared at his crew. Bond, a word that carried little meaning in their empire. Their species survived by fear, by control, by discipline. But here on Earth, he saw something else. He saw loyalty freely given. He saw love turning weakness into strength. The commander's voice grew softer, but colder. "If this is true, then humans are more dangerous than we feared, because loyalty cannot be broken. Because love cannot be stolen, weapons can be destroyed. But bonds survive." The crew shivered. Zorath turned back to the viewing screen. On the park bench, a human child hugged the small beast tightly. The beast wagged its tail and rested calmly in the child's arms. Zorath whispered to himself, "The mini sandworm is not the weapon. The human heart is the weapon. And it is a weapon we do not understand." The investigation had only begun. But already the truth was twisting into something far more dangerous. The aliens had set out to study animals. Instead, they had uncovered the hidden strength of mankind. And Zorath knew, deep in his bones, this discovery would change everything. Misunderstanding Zorath thought the investigation was over. The scans had shown weakness. The creatures were not monsters, not weapons, and yet, his heart would not rest. Something about humans and their strange loyalty made him uneasy. The next cycle, the alien ship followed a group of soldiers training in an open field. Zorath leaned close to the screen. "Now we will see the truth, if these beasts are companions. The humans will not bring them here, but if they are weapons, they will show their fangs." The humans lined up in rows, shouting commands, moving in perfect rhythm. Their boots shook the ground. Their weapons flashed in the sun. It was a display of discipline. And then, to Zorath's shock, one soldier bent down and released a small creature. It barked loudly, ran across the field, and charged straight into the center of the formation. The soldiers stopped, smiled, and began to cheer. One of them threw a stick. The beast chased it, grabbed it, and returned with wagging tail. The humans clapped and laughed. The aliens froze. "They use them in military drills," whispered Relik, horrified. "They reward the beast after each attack. See how it runs without hesitation. See how it obeys." Zorath's eyes narrowed. "This is no game. This is demonstration. The humans are showing loyalty under fire." The aliens leaned closer as the scene grew stranger. One soldier dropped to the ground and the small beast jumped onto his chest, licking his face. The soldier laughed until tears rolled down. The crew gasped. They allow the weapon to humiliate them. What strategy is this?" Zorath did not answer. He only tightened his jaw. Every moment with humans brought more confusion, more danger. The aliens continued their watch. Later that day, they saw humans walking through the market. Some bought food, others clothes, but many purchased items only for their creatures: soft beds, small clothes, shiny collars. Relik blinked rapidly. "Commander, they spend resources on them. More than food, more than weapons. They invest in the beasts as if they were leaders." Zorath shook his head. "Not leaders, Relik. Something worse. They are symbols, symbols that unite humans." That night, the aliens studied transmissions from human networks. The screens filled with endless images. Many sandworms dressed in costumes, wearing hats, riding in small cars. Some even had their own shows watched by millions. The crew stared in silence. Relik finally whispered, They celebrate the beasts, not only as weapons, not only as companions, but as stars, humans. Worship them." Zorath slammed his claw against the table. His voice thundered through the chamber. "No, this is deeper than worship. This is indoctrination. Every human child grows with a beast by their side. Every family trusts it. Every soldier trains with it. If humans train loyalty from birth, then their armies are not built of fear. They are built of love. And that makes them impossible to break." The crew trembled. In their empire, love was weakness. In their empire, loyalty was bought with power. But here, in this strange blue world, loyalty was free, given without condition. The aliens could not understand it. And because they could not understand it, they feared it. The misunderstanding grew worse when the aliens spied on a police station. A tall officer entered the room with a small beast beside him. It sniffed the ground, barked twice, and sat down. The officer nodded. "Good work," he said. And the humans applauded. Relic's eyes went wide. "Commander, the beast detects threats. It finds danger with its nose. It is living sensor. No wonder humans walk with confidence. They are always guarded." Zorath's claws tapped the armrest of his chair. He stared at the screen in silence. Every misunderstanding pulled him deeper into fear. What began as curiosity now became terror. These small creatures were not just pets. They were spies, soldiers, guardians, symbols, and friends. Each role made humans stronger. Each role made humans more unpredictable. Zorath finally spoke, his voice low and heavy. "We thought the mini sandworm was weak. But weakness is not weakness in human hands. It becomes strength. It becomes loyalty. It becomes family. And that is why we cannot win against them." The crew bowed their heads. The misunderstanding was complete. The aliens were now convinced that humans had forged a weapon no empire could match. A weapon built not from metal, but from heart. Zorath turned to the stars outside, his eyes dark with worry. "Prepare the next phase. We must test the beast directly. We must know how far this bond goes, even if it costs us dearly." And in that moment, the investigation took a dangerous turn. What began as observation was about to become interference, and humans would not forgive what was coming. Testing the theory. Zorath could not rest. Every scan, every observation only deepened the mystery. Humans treated the mini sandworms like family, but also like soldiers. They gave them food, comfort, and even jobs. No weapon in the galaxy had such power. At last, the commander spoke the words his crew had feared. "We must test one. Bring a beast aboard." The order fell like a storm inside the ship. Relic hesitated, his scales pale. "Commander, if humans discover, they will not. We will be swift. One beast only." Zorath interrupted, and so the hunters prepared. That night on Earth, the alien drone descended. It hovered above a quiet house on the edge of the city. Inside, a small golden-furred beast slept curled on a rug. Its chest rose and fell softly. Its human family lay nearby in peaceful dreams. The drone extended a beam, and in a blink, the beast vanished. No bark, no cry, just silence. The drone carried it into the sky. Unseen by human eyes, in the ship's laboratory, the crew gathered around the containment field. The little creature awoke with a yawn. It blinked, sniffed the air, and wagged its tail. Relic stepped back in fear. "It knows we took it. It will summon the humans." But instead of summoning armies, the creature walked straight toward the glass wall. It pressed its nose against the barrier and made a soft whine. The sound pierced the aliens like a blade. They expected roars, teeth, fury, but they received sadness. Zorath frowned. "This is strange tactic. It shows weakness, hoping to lower our guard. Do not be fooled." The crew nodded, though their eyes betrayed confusion. One scientist placed a tray of alien food near the field. The creature sniffed, then turned away. It sat down, staring at the door, whining again. Relic whispered, "It refuses nourishment, Commander. It waits. It misses the humans." Zorath's jaw tightened. "No, it resists interrogation. It trains its hunger to remain loyal. This is advanced discipline." Hours passed. The beast barked suddenly, loud and sharp. The crew leapt back. "It calls too." "Its army," one shouted. "They will come for us." Another trembled. Zorath raised his claw. "Silence, watch carefully, see how it guards its territory." The barking stopped when a small ball rolled accidentally into the containment field. The beast sniffed it, then with sudden energy pounced. It grabbed the ball in its mouth, shook it wildly, and dropped it again, tail wagging. The aliens gasped. It destroys enemy sphere. It plays with enemy remains. Commander, it enjoys combat. The misunderstanding grew deeper. To test further, Zorath stepped closer. The creature's eyes met his glowing, alien gaze. And then, to everyone's shock, it wagged its tail harder. Zorath froze. Why does it move its tail like weapon? The crew whispered nervously. Perhaps it signals others. Perhaps it prepares strike. Zorath reached a claw cautiously toward the barrier. The beast jumped happily, pawing at the glass, barking with excitement. The sound echoed in the chamber. Half the crew thought it was war cry, half thought it was ritual chant. None understood it was only joy. Relik's voice shook. Commander, this creature does not fear you. It welcomes you. This is not weapon. This is a lie. Humans have built army of allies, not slaves. Zorath's heart pounded. If that was true, then humanity's strength was even more terrifying. An empire of soldiers who fight not from fear, but from love, who fight side by side with beasts who would die for them. Such unity was unknown in the galaxy, and impossible to defeat. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. The containment field flickered. The creature had bitten into a cable that slipped inside. Sparks flew, systems glitched, lights flickered. The beast barked with glee, running in circles as if it had won a great battle. The alien screamed. It sabotages our systems. It disables power with teeth alone. Commander, release it before it destroys the ship. Zorath shouted above the chaos. No, we must endure. We must see the limit of its power. But deep inside, even Zorath felt something strange. Not fear, not respect, but a pull, a warmth in his chest as the beast barked and wagged its tail at him. He turned away quickly. This test proves one thing. Humans carry not weapon, not pet, but force we cannot measure. Force of loyalty, force of love. The room grew silent. The crew stared at the golden creature, now curled again on the floor, sleeping peacefully as if nothing had happened. Zorath whispered into the dark, "We will return it, before humans notice, but we will never forget. We faced the weapon of the human heart, and we barely survived." Outside, Earth spun quietly beneath the stars, unaware that its smallest guardians had already terrified an empire. Human reaction. The night on Earth was quiet, but inside one small house, silence shattered. A little girl woke with a sudden gasp. Her arms searched the rug beside her bed, but it was empty. Her best friend, the golden-furred creature, was gone. At first she thought it had wandered into the kitchen. She tiptoed through the house, whispering its name. No sound, no bark, only emptiness. Her voice cracked. Tears filled her eyes. And then the crying began. Her parents rushed in, confused and frightened. "What is wrong? What happened?" the father asked. The girl could only sob the same words, again and again. "He's gone. He's gone. He's gone." Zorath's crew watched from orbit. Their stolen prize curled asleep in the ship's chamber. But on Earth, the humans stirred like an army. The girl's father pulled on boots and a coat. The mother grabbed a flashlight. Neighbors heard the cries and came to the door. One by one, the humans stepped into the night. They split into groups, calling the creature's name. Their voices filled the streets like a chant. Relik trembled as he watched the scene unfold on the viewing screen. "Commander, do you see? For one beast, they rise in numbers. They abandon rest, abandon comfort. They unite instantly. This is terrifying." Zorath said nothing. His eyes locked on the little girl who still wept into her mother's arms. He had seen empires mourn leaders, soldiers, kings, but never a family mourn a small animal as if it were blood. Hours passed. Searchlights swept the fields. Cars rolled slowly down the roads. Strangers joined the family without being asked. Men with flashlights, women with phones, even children with posters. Within a single night, the loss of one beast had become the duty of an entire town. Zorath whispered to himself, They multiply their loyalty. 1 heart breaks, and 100 respond. This is no weakness. This is strength we cannot calculate. In the ship, the golden creature stirred awake. It barked once, sharp and longing. The sound echoed into the walls. The little girl far below lifted her head. She swore she had heard him. Her tears dried into determination. "We will find him," she whispered, and the town believed her. Relic turned from the screen, his face pale. "Commander, imagine if humans fight with this kind of unity, if they move with this devotion for each other, then no enemy can divide them. Not hunger, not fear, not war. They will always rise together." Zorath clenched his claws. His heart beat faster. This was worse than he had feared. In the darkness of space, Zorath remembered his own people. In his empire, if a soldier went missing, no one searched. If a worker fell, another simply replaced him. There was no bond, no unity, only fear of leaders and hunger for power. But here, for one small creature, humans became a single force. It was madness, it was brilliance, it was human. The search grew larger. Drones sent signals to the ship, reporting posters nailed to walls, cars honking, whistles echoing through the streets. The creature's name painted in bold letters. People who had never spoken to each other shared flashlights, shared food, shared hope. The aliens stared. They spread the story like virus. The whole community joins. Even strangers fight for this one loss. "Commander, we cannot face such unity." Zorath finally spoke, his voice heavy. "This is the truth we feared. Humans fight for more than survival. They fight for love. They fight for loyalty. They fight for each other. If they can unite for one small beast, then what will they do for their entire world?" Inside the chamber, the golden creature pressed its nose against the glass again. It whined softly, tail low, eyes longing. Even here in the cold of space, it missed the humans who loved it. Zorath looked at the beast, then at the screen of humans. Calling its name, for the first time in his long life, the commander felt something alien to his own kind. He felt guilt. He turned to Relic. "We have taken more than animal. We have stolen part of their heart, and now we see their reaction. They will never stop searching. They will never surrender." The crew lowered their heads in silence. Fear had twisted into something else now, respect, for a species that turned weakness into unity, for a child's tears that moved an entire town, for a love so strong it reached even into the stars. Zorath whispered the final words of the night. "Return it soon, before humanity learns who took it, because if they ever discover us, the whole planet will rise and no empire will survive." Their loyalty, and with that, the search below continued. Voices echoed through the night. One small dog missing, one great truth revealed. The truth revealed the stolen creature slept in the ship's chamber. The humans on Earth still searched through the night, and Zorath knew the time for guessing was over. They needed truth, solid and clear. "Bring me their transmissions," he ordered. "Show me what they call these beasts." The crew activated the decoder. Screens filled with human images, sounds and words. Voices rose from radios. Glowing pictures danced across televisions. Billions of signals filled the chamber like a storm of light. At first it was chaos. Then patterns appeared. One officer froze, pointing at the screen. "Commander, look. Everywhere we see them, in stories, in pictures, in music, the humans call them dogs." The word echoed through the chamber like thunder. "Dogs," Zorath repeated the sound slowly. "Dogs," he whispered. "Not weapon, not slave, but something stranger." He leaned forward. "Continue, show me more." The screen shifted. They saw humans making films about dogs. Dogs as heroes, rescuing children from fire. Dogs guarding homes against thieves. Dogs guiding the blind across streets. Dogs waiting for masters who never returned. Each story pierced deeper than any weapon could. Relic clutched his chest. "Commander, do you see? They have given these beasts not only jobs, but honor. They turn loyalty into legend. They raise Dogs into symbols, and the humans cry for them, cheer for them, even worship them. Another officer gasped as children's programs appeared. Colorful cartoons with laughing dogs teaching kindness and friendship. Stories of pups saving the day. Zorath narrowed his eyes. They teach their children from birth that loyalty is not weakness, that love is not foolish. They raise their young to believe a dog is family, and so every generation is trained in this bond. The crew fell silent as a documentary played. A soldier knelt beside a grave. A dog sat beside him, refusing to move. Rain fell. Thunder rolled. But the beast did not leave. The humans watching cried. The dog simply stayed. Zorath's throat tightened. In his empire, soldiers were left behind. Here, even death could not break the bond. Relic turned in awe. This is not pet. Commander, this is partner. This is soldier of the heart. Zorath's voice shook. No, Relic, this is worse. This is weapon greater than metal, because no enemy can destroy it, even time cannot destroy it. They fight with loyalty that lasts beyond death. The screens kept showing more. Dogs running through war fields, finding wounded soldiers. Dogs jumping into rivers to save drowning humans. Dogs howling at doors until their masters were found. Every act of courage shown not by order, but by choice. Zorath's crew trembled. The misunderstanding was gone now. The truth was clear. And it was more dangerous than their worst fears. Zorath pressed his claws against the console. This is why humans carry them. Not as weapons, not as tools, but as family. They carry loyalty in their arms. They carry courage on a leash. They walk with symbols of love, and that makes them undefeatable. The crew whispered in agreement. If humans fought with machines, they could be stopped. If humans fought with fear, they could be broken. But humans fought with love, and that made them eternal. The golden dog inside the chamber whined again. It pressed its nose to the glass, tail wagging weakly. Zorath turned his head sharply. Even in captivity, it longed for its humans. Even far from Earth, its heart remained there. He whispered, almost against his will. This is their secret. They do not conquer worlds. They conquer hearts. And once they conquer, they never let go. The room grew heavy with silence. The crew no longer feared the small beast. They feared the bond it represented. Because bonds could spread across planets, across species, across stars. Zorath sat down slowly, his voice barely above a whisper. Send this truth to the council. Let them know. Humans are not powerful because of weapons, not because of machines, but because they have learned to turn weakness into strength, because they have built an army of loyalty, an empire of love. The officers bowed their heads. For the first time in their lives, they respected another species, not because of fear, but because of something deeper, and it unsettled them more than any battle. The golden creature yawned softly, curling up once more. The humans below still searched through the night, and Zorath knew with certainty the truth was revealed, but it was a truth that would change the galaxy forever. HFY, ending the council chamber was vast, filled with shadows and light. Dozens of alien leaders sat on their thrones, their eyes glowing like cold stars. Whispers moved through the room as Zorath entered. His armor bore scratches from travel, his eyes heavy from sleepless nights. But his voice, when he spoke, was steady. Honored Council, I have returned from the blue planet Earth, and I bring you the truth. The chamber grew silent. Every ear turned toward him. Every gaze burned with curiosity. They had expected news of weapons, machines, or armies. But Zorath's next words made them lean forward in disbelief. Humans do not carry weapons in their arms. They carry dogs. Confusion swept across the room. Dogs? The word echoed like thunder in an empty canyon. One elder hissed, You crossed galaxies to tell us humans walk with animals? Is this joke, Commander Zorath? Zorath's eyes flared. This is no joke. This is warning. Listen before you dismiss. He told them everything. The humans walking with creatures at their side. The soldiers laughing as dogs ran through drills. The families mourning when one went missing, the entire town rising in unity to search for a single golden beast. He spoke of the broadcasts, the stories, the legends. Dogs saving lives, guarding homes, never abandoning their masters. He spoke of love so strong it survived even death. The chamber remained silent. Some listened with awe, others with disbelief. At last one elder spoke. You claim humans build their strength not on fear, not on power, but on love? On loyalty? This is weakness. It cannot win wars. Zoroth shook his head. His voice was low but sharp as steel. No, elders, you are wrong. I have seen weapons that destroy planets. I have seen fleets that blacken the stars. But never have I seen an army united by the heart. And that is what humans have created. Their dogs are not tools. They are symbols, symbols that teach every child, every soldier, every family, that loyalty is worth more than fear, that love is stronger than death. The council shifted uneasily. Another elder growled. And you believe this makes them dangerous? Zoroth's eyes blazed. Yes, more dangerous than any empire we have faced. Because weapons break, machines rust, fear fades. But love does not. Once it takes root, it spreads, it multiplies. It infects armies, families, entire worlds. He paused, then whispered the words that froze the chamber. Humans carry loyalty in their arms. They carry courage on a leash. They carry family in their hearts. This is their greatest weapon, and it is a weapon we cannot fight. The elders exchanged glances. Some mocked, but others trembled. One elder, oldest among them, leaned forward. His voice was a whisper, but carried like thunder. Then we must never make enemies of humans, for they are the species who turn even beasts into family. And family cannot be conquered. The words settled over the chamber like a storm. For a long moment, no one moved. The image of Earth glowed on the screen, a blue and green world. Fragile yet fierce, Zoroth stared at it, his voice softer now. I feared them, but now I respect them. They are not like us. They do not rule with fear. They rule with bonds invisible, unbreakable, eternal. The council dismissed him, but their whispers followed. Zoroth returned to his ship. He looked once more at the golden creature curled on the floor of the chamber. Soon it would be returned to its humans, where it belonged. But its presence had already changed him. He reached one claw through the barrier. The creature wagged its tail and pressed its nose against him. And for the first time, Zoroth felt what humans called peace. As the ship drifted away from Earth, the commander's final words echoed in the silence of space. Never make war with the world that carries love in its arms, for that world will never fight alone. And Earth spun below, not feared for its weapons, but for something far greater, the strength of the human heart.